Um, I'm one of those folks that always notices little magazines and freebie things at the grocery store, and I always pick them up. This was the one issue that I noticed, Go Local, about Lebanon County and Hershey area. This was from March, and picked it up, and inside there was an article called Meet the Man Who Knows the Signs. And I took it home and I read it, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is interesting. The older I get, the more history I seem to want to know. And for anybody who drives, walks, bikes, roads in Pennsylvania, we've seen these signs, or you've passed these signs and not noticed them. But this gentleman notices them, and he's been noticing them for a long, long time. And I'm delighted for dairy folks to meet the man who knows the signs. And we have some video things we want to show you. So hopefully all goes well as we're doing this. But folks, I'm delighted for you to meet Clair Clawser. Claire, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Right, Claire.
Okay, I'm Clair Clawser. I'm looking at a very small screen here. Yeah, I'm the cast iron sign man. I first noticed these signs back when I was 15 years old, before I was even driving. And recently I went through the towns where this all started. We went through Sylvania, Pennsylvania, which is up in the Northeast. I said, that's the last place I went through before I started this. The first place we started was Mainsburg on Route 6. So we initially were just, as we drove by, we'd memorize what the sign said and write it down. And then we got a collection. From 1960 to 1965, I had like 130 towns written. But then someone came along later on and said, oh, you have a couple mistakes. So I immediately went back over these signs and took pictures to prove whether I'm right or wrong. I did have a couple mistakes, but from then on, I wanted to take pictures of these signs. So, of course, that was back in the days when, you had 12 or 24 pictures per film. So I didn't overdo taking pictures. But when the digital camera came along, boy, I went to town and going over everything. However, how many signs weren't there anymore? In fact, before I even started all this, in the late 1950s, I noticed that the creek sign at Fontana for Bachman Run, it was a cast iron sign. It was taken down. We said, hey, they took that sign down. Why'd they do that? That's the first time I noticed a cast iron sign being removed. Now, of course, in the early days, it was mainly in the East Pennsylvania and the Southeast. But as time went along, I started covering the state more and more. And there were some people somehow they got a hold of me as far as knowing who I am and where I am, and they start sending me information. So every time they'd send me something, but they weren't sending me pictures, they were just sending me information. I'd go out to these towns and try and get a picture. Well, again, in the meanwhile, which very short time, some of the signs were gone. So more and more people have gotten interested in this over the years, and I get more and more information. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, I saw Kane for the first time, and I saw Irvin. Now this is out towards Erie, which I had seen 50 years ago, and it's still there, but not painted. And I have learned of a little town called Utica, Pennsylvania. When we were there at Utica, we drove all over town and couldn't find the sign. So we saw this woman walking and asked her, "Do you know where the sign is for Utica?" "Oh, happens we were on the right street, but you had to go out to the edge of town over a speed bump." And we sped over the speed bump. And there it was, beautifully redone by a person I know in Pittsburgh. So this information has been very interesting. Towns are named after many different reasons. Some of them are named for a person, the founder, or they're named for the wife of the founder, the daughter, the son of the founder. Some are named for cities in other countries like England or Germany that people came from there, and so they just brought the name over with them. So, and then of course there's a lot of Indian names, such as Punxsutawney. Now, like I do, I collect information piece by piece. This has not been an instant thing. It's been 60 years accumulation. So I learned that Punxsutawney is an Indian word, means the valley of the sand flea. So not everything has a beautiful background to it.
Claire,
These
sorry to
questions-
interrupt you, Claire, but whenever you want me to show pictures, give me a holler.
Just show pictures as I'm talking. Just
All right.
slowly go through them. Just
Okay.
slowly go through them. And if I see something, I'll comment on. Otherwise, I'll just keep with my recitation. So we're going into seeing some pictures now of these cast iron signs. I have over 400 pictures. At one time, there was up to 2,000 signs. But too many have been removed for one reason or another. These signs originally were made in two places, the Carlisle Foundry in Carlisle and Geisler Manufacturing in Waynesboro. Some of the signs you can look on the back and actually see enough there to see where it was made. Not all of them. They're in varying conditions.
Yeah.
I over the course of the time, I have been working on collecting information and doing books and updates. So I haven't painted many, but I have repainted a couple. A couple of years ago, I did East Petersburg, north and south in the town. And I did Stouchersburg out of Myerstown.
Debbie, all I see is a white screen with that it's the head of, it said 1 of 9 selected, but no picture.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not seeing any picture either.
all right, let's try this again.
Share screen again.
Well, I lost my disc.
Yeah, your share screen. So
Well,
go there, it
I
should
gotta get my,
reappear.
wait.
Should I keep talking?
Yeah, keep talking. I have to go back and get this.
I
can
made
see
a,
it.
I made a blue, yeah, I don't see it. I made a blueprint of the Vickerville cast iron sign, getting all the measurements of the sign, the height of the post and the height of the letters and everything. And that's the general size of everything. There's very few differences as far as size of
Make this smaller.
lettering in that. However, there have been a few signs made other than those two places, which you have maybe a different style of lettering or something slightly different.
Is that better?
Now, there it says Signs of Pennsylvania, I see now. Okay, there you go.
Okay. Sorry, I could see that and you couldn't.
Keep, there you go.
Okay, now There was a map I did in 2017. All those red dots are showing where the signs are. And I've found a few since then. That's like 4 years ago. I found a few. It seems like I'm always finding another 1 or 2 or 3 or so that are not on there.
There's a couple
But
of.
there are also
Yeah.
several that the dot's there, but the sign isn't there anymore. Hickory Town along Route 322 out of Ephrata was there, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. And I don't know what they did with it. And there was nothing wrong with it. It was good looking. Ephrata, I have a picture of 2 signs. I can't see what that one is. Oh, there's the Vertebral Sign. That's the one I did the blueprint of to show all the measurements. And then at the top there, okay, there's the blueprint. There's a measurement of the height of it, of the post and the size of the sign head and the lettering. Brickerville is a few years ago. There's a Philadelphia one that's been redone by this man in Pittsburgh. He fixed the piece that's out and he repainted it and it looks like new. I had gone to Philadelphia when I saw about that one. I went to City Hall and asked them about their sign and whether they could redo it. They sent me to the local historical society and oh no, they couldn't do anything about it. So this man in due time, he got a hold of it and he's redone it. And they're going to post it somewhere. I'm not sure where. At the moment, it's in Pittsburgh. There's Reamstown. That sign is in the Conestoga Valley Museum in Ephrata. It's sitting there in the back corner. There's 4 signs there. Reamstown, 2 of Ephrata, and 1 of Lincoln. Lincoln, of course, when they first took it down, they thought nothing of it because Lincoln became part of the Ephrata borough. Annville, you know where that is. That's close to Hosses there, looking west, and that one's in fairly good shape. So we know we have all kinds of varieties. Cleona recently redid their one sign and moved it close to Turkey Hill. That is she went on already. Cleona, that's the one on the west end of Cleona. And I thought it was a neat setting there with that post or that picket fence. And they were having a yard sale one time, so I asked the people who lived there who fixed the sign. They had no idea. Typical. I think ghosts must work on these signs because now lawn, those are relatively new, and you can see it's different lettering. There's a couple signs there. And all of a sudden they appeared. I don't know who did them, but they're in good shape. Palmyra has 2 signs, and they're one at either end of town. This one here is at the Sheets.
Probably.
This one's at Sheets, and the other ones they're at Lingle Avenue. And for a while, a tree was covering it. You couldn't hardly see it. I think they finally trimmed that tree. There's Quentin. Now that's not your standard cast iron sign. That's just a sign put in a monument like, but it tells how Quentin got named. It was Bismarck, but during World War I, the people took offense to that German name and they wanted to rename it. So they renamed it Quentin after the son of Theodore Roosevelt. Richland, I because some don't have a cast iron sign, I just take a picture anyway, because I think it looks neat and also to include them in the list. Collegeville, that's a new one there that was redone recently, and it's in good shape. you want to go the next one?
Yep.
Hickory Town.
Let me go back.
Yeah, Hickory Town, that's next to Plymouth Meeting there in Montgomery County.
Oh my gosh,
It
Lord.
is another type of a sign, but it, it tells about the town and how it got named, so I thought I'd include that. Next, Shamokin, that's up in the coal regions, that's in good shape. It's right as you come across the bridge in the north end of town. And it's tells about, it's an Indian name, the place of the horns. The cult one at the top, that's supposed to be your next town and how far it is away.
Oh,
Now, that varies
well,
because
Hudson didn't exist, so you went right to Helmston. Ah.
some have the next town and some don't. There's Sunbury. Northumberland is 2 miles away. That's of course in Northumberland County. I had gone to the Sunbury newspaper to get them to do an article on my subject. And here I was in Sunbury and I didn't even have the cast iron sign, even though I knew it was there. I didn't have a picture. So later on, I got a picture.
That's where Maryland's from, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's coming.
Next,
It's coming.
it's coming.
There we go.
Okay, there's Mars, Pennsylvania. That's one of my favorite little towns out in Butler County, south end of Butler County. It's named supposedly for the star of Mars. Now we know Mars is a planet and not a star, but as you look in the sky, it looks like a star. So they call it the star of Mars. They do have a spaceship there, a miniature spaceship, and it was supposed to have been that they had a tool company there for tools made in Mars. That's at a museum. It's not at the edge of town. Here's at Glen. They have two signs, and that one has a piece out. I'm not sure if that one was repaired or not.
How do you knock a piece out of these?
It is crazy how, there's so many of them have a broken piece. Cast iron is brittle, and some have been hit by cars, some have been hit by snow plows. I don't know what one at the bottom would have been hit with. Somebody's fist. I think he would have hurt his fist.
Mm.
Bainbridge, that's in Lancaster County, and it's close to the Susquehanna River.
Mm.
Elizabethtown is at top. Bird in Hand, that's of course on Route 340, Philadelphia Pike, going out from Lancaster towards the east. And I don't know, I've seen that sign change different times. This one's really good looking here, but times it looks like it needs paint. Blue Ball, that's Blue Ball. That one is a new sign. I don't know where they made it. The old sign did not look bad, but they went made a new one. And instead of saying the next town, it says East Earl Township at the top, which is the township that it's in, but that's not the standard way they do. Vickerville, that's the one we saw before, and the one I measured to get all the measurements for a blueprint. Brownstown, that sits along 272 below Akron, and the town's on the other side of the expressway. It's kind of sitting out in the corner by itself, not at the town. Christiana, that's going down Route 41 down from Gap. And I think they have two signs, one at either end of town. Churchtown, that one kind of amuses me. It's the old one in the old style, but it says the prevalence of churches. I can only find 2 churches in town. I think there's a lot of towns that have more than 2.
I think so.
Clay, that one's near Brickerville. I called up the township there and asked them if I could repaint it. Well, they said they'll repaint it. So that's what they did. Sits on a rusty post though. They didn't do the post.
It's a rusty post.
Columbia, that's of course across from Wrightsville. And they have a red border for some reason. I don't know why. Standard is blue and yellow. And look at the sign, no dogs allowed. Conestoga, that's down in southern Lancaster County. And that one's not, I didn't find too awful long ago. I had done an article in Lancaster Magazine on these signs, and I had not yet seen Conestoga, but we got it since. And Mardickville is another one down there. Safe Harbor. Denver, well, that's in good shape. In fact, my picture on the back of this book I did is of Denver there, me standing at the sign. That's as you come in from Reamstown, Reamstown, near a bank.
It seems backwards to name a Pennsylvania town after a Colorado city.
Yeah, well, that happens all the time though. Akron was named for Akron, Ohio.
Seems like we'd be going this way instead of that way.
And here's East Petersburg. Now that's the the big sign with all their whatchamacallit deals they have, organizations. The cast iron signs in the background there, you can just barely see it. That's
Does it
one I
say-
retained.
Does that say it was named for Daniel Wolfe, but it's East Petersburg?
No, I don't think so.
Or founded, I can't found it. Maybe it's
I can-
founded by.
I can look that up in a moment here. East Petersburg.
Oop,
It was, oh yeah, it was founded by Daniel Wolfe,
Founded
but not
by.
named by him.
That makes more
Not
sense.
named for him, it was founded by him.
That makes more sense.
There's Elizabethtown, and it shows Lebanon. Well, of course, Lebanon's not the next town, but that's what they do. And Elizabethtown has three signs.
Whoa. Uh-oh, what just happened?
I don't know, but if you have more, okay. Otherwise, I'll keep talking.
Where'd it go?
There
Oh,
you
okay. Sorry.
I wanted to say at the beginning that I'm a pioneer preservationist, and I did not put that on me. Another man said I am. So I picked that up and said, well, yeah, I believe I am.
No, I
Because
think
I'm the very first
that must have
person
been
I-
it then.
Yeah, I'm the very first person I know that has done this. There have been others joined in since.
Claire, I have just a few other pictures in my,
Yeah, I'll put them on, sure.
oh, wait a minute. Sorry, it's coming.
Okay.
There it is.
Oh, there you got Morris and Lexington. I like that Lexington
Wait.
one there because of that
Wait,
tree.
that's the ending. That's the end. Wait. Ba, 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 ba. Dear. Okay, there's the beginning.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, there's the cover of one of my editions of my books. I've done several editions. It isn't just one book. And that one is probably one of the best editions I did. But I have this one that I had a publisher do, but he didn't want to do any color except for the cover, so I did more of myself. And there you can see me at my letterpress. I printed it on hand feed letterpress. It said all the type by hand.
Gosh.
I learned that at Hershey High School back in the early 60s.
Oh my gosh.
I graduated in 1963. Now here is the Hershey sign that's still standing, thankfully, but the Spring Creek sign behind there was removed a number of years ago. And also one of my oldest pictures of these signs was me standing and writing down the information of Hershey. I had my aunt take a picture of me. This is a postcard of Route 30 back in the old days before the turnpike out around Somerset.
Oh, whoa, whoa. I didn't mean to move that.
And this was those look like those cast iron signs. They're not. They're much larger. But in the picture, it makes them look small. They're giving the elevation of that mountain, which is on the Lincoln Highway or Route 30.
These are postcards?
Postcards, yes. I love old postcards like that. They have some really neat pictures.
Yeah, that unit has.
But try and find postcards with these cast iron signs on. You can look till you're blue in the face and you cannot find them. Some reason or other, they didn't think it valuable to take pictures of the cast iron sign. And I have a relative in Myerstown who has a postcard museum, and he has thousands of them. You can't find it. You can't find one with a cast iron sign on it. There, of course, is a blueprint and the Shamokin sign. That's a whole bunch of signs showing, like Kinzer there, for some reason or other, they're red and yellow. They're posted right in front of the fair company, right along Route 30. And variations of blue and yellow. And of course, variations of faded or strong. Now that Jennerstown sign there, that's just a plain flat cast, a steel sign. It's not cast iron, but it's made in the design of the cast iron. So it's just so interesting to see the different qualities of color and condition. That is a picture from 1930 of the Mundy's Corner cast iron sign from the rear. I went out to Mundy's Corner. It's still standing, but somehow the road condition didn't look like the same. I couldn't find a position that looked like that. But the sign's still there. I don't know if they redid the road or moved the sign or what.
Claire, back on the last slide, there was a town called Glen Campbell. Any comment on that? Because I've never heard of that.
Yes, it's in Indiana County. Indiana County had a bunch of signs, and it was not named for the singer Glen Campbell.
Okay.
It was named way before he was famous, but he did go and visit it there. And I forget the year, something like 1975 or something. He visited there.
Maybe he was named after the sign.
Yeah, possibly.
Thank you.
It's a Glen, and the Glen was named Campbell. Glen is a type of a condition.
Is the William Penn, was that the highway?
William Penn is, Route 22 was
Oh.
named the William Penn Highway.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, see, in the past, in fact, at first the highways were named after a name. Then they got numbers later. Route 322 in the beginning was number 5. And of course, there's Lexington again, and that I took that one especially because of that tree, that beautiful tree there. Lexington had 2 signs. They were so close together you could almost see the one from the other. Now the one's gone. Morris, I like that one because it has a nice church in the background there, and you know Morris the cat.
That's it. That's my pictures.
Well, I can still go on.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
I-
You got
in
about
my-
10 minutes or so, and then we can
Okay.
ask questions.
Yeah, sure. In the course of getting around the state, I wanted to find the 4 corners and see if I could find the markers. Some sort of a marker. The only one I found was Arc Corner. That is off 896 going into Delaware. You have to know the right road because just before you go into Delaware, but actually it hooks Maryland there. 896 is in Pennsylvania, hooks Maryland a little bit and then into Delaware. But you gotta get the right road and go over to the east about 2 miles, and there's a marker sitting in the woods, Arc Corner. That is the only border in the whole country that forms an arc. The northern border of
forms an
Delaware
arc.
forms an arc.
The only,
The only border in this, you say the only border in the country that forms an arch?
Right, arc,
Arc,
A-R-C, arc,
arc, okay,
down at the bottom.
A-R-C.
okay. Why did that
Well,
happen?
I don't know. But
That is weird.
Mason and Dixon were in on that border, so
Yeah.
why they did that, I don't know.
I think.
But
on the-
anyhow, the first time I went to look it up, there was a dirt road I had to go through, and about 2 miles long. In the middle of the road, a tree was laying across the road, blocking the road. I got out my saw, sawed it in half.
That's why you're a pioneer.
So I wasn't gonna let a little tree stop me. It wasn't a big tree, thankfully, but it blocked the road. The last time I went there a couple of years ago, you couldn't even see there's a road anymore. It was so
Oh.
grown up.
Oh,
It was like it vanished.
hmm.
So then I tried to find the southwest corner with West Virginia. Well, I got very close, but I couldn't find anything. And the southwest corner of New York State up near Erie, all we saw was a county sign. There was no marker there, no pin or anything, no monument. So, but there are a couple of posts along the southern border there with Mason-Dixon line. There's one out of Stewartstown that they discovered in a field, and they reset it, and it's right on the border there with Maryland. I think there's one out near state line also, sitting in the field. I'm not sure how many of the posts they have of the Mason-Dixon line, but there are a few. So it's I basically am after cast iron signs, but I'm also after anything of interest, and Pennsylvania has everything. I did this update this year, and I have 55 things listed in there of things to do. Some you've done, I'm sure, but a lot of them I'm sure you haven't. And I also have a section on special coins. If you go to some of these attractions, they have a penny machine where you put in 2 quarters and a penny, and you crank the crank, and it makes an image of whatever the attraction is. So I have a bunch of those. I think that's very interesting. But out there in Mars, they have a flying saucer and Emporium. Near there is Austin, an Austin Dam. You've heard of the Johnstown flood? You probably never heard of the Austin flood. It was a concrete dam and it busted and poured down all over the town there. Didn't kill as many as Johnstown, but it drowned some people. And there's Avenue of the Flags at Hermitage. And Cherry Springs State Park is a dark spot where people go to view the sky because it's a very dark spot. Not any natural, any artificial lights. It's all dark. So Pennsylvania is just loaded with stuff. And for a while I was doing a calendar. I did a calendar of these cast iron signs. And
Claire, are you holding those up? Is that?
no, I haven't held anything up.
Oh, okay. I thought we can't see them if you were.
Yeah, I wasn't. My picture here is so small. I wasn't realizing I could do that. But here is the calendar,
Mhm.
and that's Beaver Springs there up in Union County. Here's Bird in Hand. You can see that.
Mhm, mhm.
And there's Burgettstown, that's out in Beaver County, I believe it is.
How do you keep all of these in your head?
Because I'm a geography nut. That's my favorite subject is geography, and I have a memory of geography like nothing.
You
Nobody
never
else
get
can.
lost. You never get
No,
lost?
well, I can get lost, but not for long. I can always find my way out. I sometimes drove through Lancaster County on roads I didn't know. And then I steered myself by the sun.
Gosh.
That's not called lost, that's called misplaced.
Orienteering.
Claire, you're all around my hometown of Gap down there. There was a sign. I don't know if it's still there. It says name for a gap in the hills.
Gap, yeah.
Yeah.
I have it written down, but I didn't get a picture. I didn't get it soon enough.
But my question is, a lot of these signs are fairly uniform. What's the criteria? Does the state of Pennsylvania determine that, or is it just tradition, or why are they so uniform?
It was done by the state. These signs I didn't say they were made between 1920 something and 1942, and the state discontinued it after that. So everything that's newer is not done by the state; it's done by individuals. And like Shennick got 5 signs made a couple years ago. Mountville got 3 signs made. I'm trying to think. Oh, there was I can't think of the town now. Birdsboro, there was a sign, Hay Creek. They got 1 made there. And I don't know why they took the Birdsboro sign down and they put up the Hay Creek. That don't make sense, but that's what they did. So it's a standard, yes, but some have been made since by individuals, and they might vary a little bit if they're done more recent. Now, some of those new ones say in the back, "Do not scrap." So that people won't get rid of them. And we hope they won't. My biggest thing is to see these signs preserved and ones in bad shape be fixed up. We have located a lot of ones in like highway dumps, museums, in the storage, any old place that they've been sitting and nobody's been taking care of them. New Cumberland has theirs in their municipal building. I went there because I learned about it. Said somebody had hit it with a car, and after a while they owned up to it, so they took it and put it in the municipal building so it wouldn't be hit again, instead of reposting it.
Hmm.
So I was at the farm show, and I've been a regular visitor to the farm show for years. And they had for a while, they had a cast iron sign deal where you go around and you check the ones that you saw and you get something at the end. So I was talking to somebody at one of those, and guy comes up to me and says, "Oh, you don't want to get near any of those." I thought, I believe he's one of the guys that hit one of those signs.
So I caught that you can refurbish or repair these signs. Do you make them at all, or you just?
I don't. I've repainted some, but I don't take them down. A couple of fellows I know, they take them down and they redo them and make them like new. I don't have the equipment for that. This guy
I'm sorry. I was going to say, does the state still do these?
No, the state does not do it all. They'd rather take them all down and throw them in the dump.
Yeah.
So, I'm fighting against something I have no control over at all. But it is interesting that after 60 years, finding signs I hadn't seen, where are they coming from?
So Claire, if we look in your book and we see a sign you don't have, we should let you know?
Yeah, certainly. I'm always open to new information. However, in my book, you're going to find some that aren't there.
Yeah.
Because I managed to get a picture before they took them down. Yeah.
Where can we find your book?
I have books along, and if you don't want to do it today, I have a card there. You can give your name and address, and then
He's gonna leave these with me. And then you can just fill it
Here-
out.
here is a card if I can get it on screen here.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to leave some with your name.
Debbie.
I remember towns, but I can't remember names.
There's no Debbie-ville, so I can understand.
Not yet, anyway.
Here, I don't know if you can see this or not. This is the price list right here.
Okay.
Can you leave that with me, Claire?
Certainly.
Okay. Yeah, I bought this one for the library,
Good.
but if you want one, I'm gonna keep it in the car. Oh, Marilyn wants Charlie to bring one home. I just saw a note. Yeah, I thought it'd be cool to just keep in the car when you're driving around.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know people that do that. And
Now that I've seen them, we were on the phone and I said to Claire, I just saw 3 signs. And I could remember 2, and he told me what the third one was.
I have some people that give me information, and then they gave me pictures, and I went back to check those signs, and I could not find them. Like Sly in York County, CLY. I had information from years ago on that sign, but no picture. So this guy goes and gets a picture, and the sign was in bad shape, but it was all there. I drove all over that town. I asked everybody I could. Nobody knew a thing. And yet it had been recently that he got the picture.
Wow. So we have to be very specific when we tell you where they are.
Oh, then because he found a few, he called me up one time. You don't have this sign. I said, yes, I do. You're in the wrong county. That you gotta check which county you're in here.
Does make a difference.
Yeah, so it's, I wish everybody luck because we have covered this state, but there's always little nooks and crannies. Pennsylvania is the #1 rural state. We have more towns than any state except Illinois.
Oh,
And every place you go, there's a little town. Oh, see, what discouraged me early on was you go down this road. Here's this town over to the left 2 miles, town over to the right 1 mile. You go over there and there's nothing. You go over there, there's nothing. You get tired of diverting. You're never going to get where you're going. And so, after a while, you think you're not getting anywhere. And then somebody comes along and says, "Oh, this fruit has a whole bunch on." So that's what I've found in a number of cases. So it's just one of these things, and that's why it has gone on for so long, because keep getting information, and sometimes it's 1 or 2, sometimes it's 10.
Mm.
But I think we're getting to the saturation point that except something sitting on an old road that hasn't been used in years, and that's where the sign is, you're not going to find any.
Hmm. Well,
So
Claire, we're
Debbie-
certainly, I'm sorry, Jack.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Debbie, Heidi's up in the nursery right now. If you can get her to buy one of those books and bring home to me for Father's Day, great.
Okay, we'll work on that. We can work on
All
that.
right. And thank you, Claire.
I forgot to say Happy Father's Day. I'm not a father.
Claire, we're certainly glad you found your way to Derry. He's found, and to being such a good sport for doing this. He prefer in person, but I think we
Well,
made
hey,
it work. I think we
This
made
is
it work.
unique. This is fun. Now, on Tuesday, I got an eye exam virtually, so
There
why
you
not
go.
do this?
How about that? And Claire, you're gonna get a lot more people see this because it's recorded. We've had up to 300 hits on it afterwards.
Good.
So
good.
you'll be popular.
Yeah, well, see, I'm listed on Amazon, but I don't get anything from that. That all goes to the publisher, and he won't even admit to me how much he gets. So,
Yeah, so anybody who's listening, call the church, 717-533-9667, and we can get one of Claire's books for you. So we appreciate it. Nothing else like it out there. Claire, can't thank you enough. Any other questions? I don't mean to cut anybody off. Pete?
What happened to the Burma shave signs?
what was that?
What happened to the Burma shave signs that were along the roads?
Oh, Burma shave. Oh, hey,
I think
know
you
all
just
about
dated
that.
yourself, Pete.
No, no.
I have a Burma shave book. You can get a book on it, and it has all it listed and told all the story and everything. The last one I remembered was going into Quentin on Old 322, where you cut off the main road now. Go up over the hill, there was Burma shave. And they kept the posts there long after the signs were gone. Well, now the posts are gone too. But I knew Burma. In fact, I've done Route 66. If you go out to Arizona, you can find Burma shave signs right along Route 66. So I'm well acquainted with it.
Thank you.
So I gather the challenge is for us to find a sign that you haven't found yet. in
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
that would be a good one, right? I would like someone to come up with just even one.
Well, I saw on your map, there were some counties that didn't have any dots.
Right, for some reason or other, like Huntington County, we said it didn't have any. Well, we found one, but it's not the Warrior's Mark. It's not a cast iron sign, it's painted on a sign. It's flat painted on a sign, you know, not the whole sign, it just painted on the sign, Warrior's Mark. And Clinton County, we have not found any there. And Monroe County and Carbon County, we haven't found any there, Jim Thorpe area. So there's a couple, but there's not many. And of course, your two major ones are Lancaster and Montgomery. I lived in Norristown for a couple of years, and I was going all over Montgomery County then. But they've removed some too. It's just Beaver County out west, they're doing pretty good. They also have some county signs there of their own making, not of the state. But like Blair County only has one, and I'm not sure if it's still standing. It was standing, but you just never know. I mean, I forgot Forest County doesn't have any either. But like Erie area, they had a whole string going down Route 19. I can't find any of them anymore.
Claire, you said these started by the state around up the 20s to the 40s. Was that a make work type job during the Depression, or?
That I don't know. I've tried to get information on some of the early doings. I've tried to check on both those cast iron companies, and they're long out of business. We can't get anything at all on them. I would have loved to get a bill of sale or something, but we haven't been able to get anything. I even went to the Carlisle Library and asked them if they knew anything. They didn't know anything. Just unfortunate. I would love to have a bill of sale and something from the state. Now, I was in contact with the state way back in the beginning. Unfortunately, the man I was talking to was the slowest talker you ever met, and I wanted to get done sometime. I mean, he was so slow, it took him a minute to say 5 words.
Yeah. Waiting for his answer, you lost your train of thought, right?
Forget what the question is.
Yeah, so I've done all kinds of research, but I found the best is going in person. Now, I didn't mention here, I have a pink book here, Clair Clawser, Pennsylvania, and it has 120 towns in there telling how they got founded and how they got named. And I have one on Hershey. And there was a time some years ago when they tried to rename Hershey. And after the woman won the contest, they called it Hershey.
Yes.
Well, it used to be before Hershey, we were told that it was Dairy Church was the town.
Well,
It was.
that was Dairy Township, I think. But anyhow, some have said Hershey's not even an official name, but everybody calls it Hershey.
Yeah. Well, I saw that one sign from Palmyra. It went straight to Hummelstown.
Yeah, Hummelstown had a sign, but they took theirs down. And I keep thinking about going to the municipal building and asking, but everywhere I go, nobody knows anything. So you just kind of give up. Now here is if you can see it, is the art corner.
Oh. What book is that in? The pink one?
In this pink book.
Pink book.
Yeah, that's and also that if you remember, they used to have county signs like that upright there.
Oh,
They're long gone.
can you see it's a pole?
Yeah.
The only one I saw recently like that is up in the Perry County. And it was in bad shape. It was ready to fall apart.
Is that wood?
Wood, yeah.
Yeah.
Debbie, can you get a copy of that pink book for the library?
I'll have to find out.
And then I have 4 4 pages of please color me or color me, please.
Uh, And Claire draws these too.
I'm an artist and I have a find the town puzzle.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, I've got a request for one of those for the library, Claire.
Okay. And then I have keystone shapes here. You're supposed to name the shape. They're all Pennsylvania products.
That one looks like that guy that had the magnet thing you put your. his
Yeah, woolly
head-
woolly. Yeah,
Oh, it was.
woolly, yeah. See, that was made in Cowersport.
Oh, cool. Okay. A lot of history. Well,
Yep.
Claire, I think the Zoom will cut us off here before too long. I don't want you
No.
to get caught mid-sentence.
No, okay.
Can't thank you enough for doing this.
The sun rising over Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
We camped overnight in the Mount Washington to get that.
Oh, yeah, up on the hill, up on the mountain. Yeah.
Yep.
It's the best
Well,
view
thank
of
you.
Pittsburgh.
thank you much, Charlie, for your input and your information. That's very fascinating.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed it.
You're Charlie.
I
He's
thought
Claire.
thousands of hours of enjoyment.
I'm so sorry we didn't get to do this in person, but this was as best we could do, but you did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very patient.
Thank you, Claire.
Friends, thank
welcome.
you. And don't forget, I'll have these and Jack, I'll do my best. He wants an autograph copy, Claire.
Well, no problem.
One that one that has the signs in it.
Yeah, they all have signs in.
Well, just make sure. Yeah,
Probably this
sounds
one.
good.
Probably that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
That'll work fine. That'll work fine.
Alrighty, we'll work on that from this end. Friends, thank you so much. Claire, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.